the wheel's spinning. All right, welcome everybody. The spinning wheel of death is done, and today Rob and I are hanging out with you, with all y'all. We're gonna talk about selling to the real agenda.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I've had like 6 calls this week that touch on this subject, aligning with what buyers actually care about.
Pain.
Yeah. And I think it's probably one of the biggest missings of any episode that we've touched on so far, because too many sellers pitch features and benefits while missing what really drives the decisions. Buyers buy for their priorities: budget pressure, political wins, career protection, growth goals. It can be far ranging and not on your pricing table. And so today we're here to talk about messaging, but most importantly, discovery practices that inform that messaging, that align directly with what your buyers actually care about, not what you wish they cared about, or what you're most interested in, or why you're fascinated about the thing that you built that you think everyone should have. So that being the case, let's start ripping this apart.
You don't want to start off as like Debbie Downer on this, but when people are selling all those features and benefits, someone needs to just step in front of them and go, hey, listen, nobody cares. Right?
Amen.
Unless they care, they don't care, right? Like, you're going about this the wrong way. Pump the brakes on the pitch and ask them, what's the biggest problem facing your business right now? What's keeping you up at night, right? What are you struggling with that's the constraint holding you from achieving your financial expansion, other objectives, right? Where are you stuck? Right? Those kinds of questions. And then let them get really comfortable, right? Provide emotional safety, right? Empathize as they lean in, right? Like, well, we thought that this. Oh, what did you try already? And how did that go? Right?
What did you hate about why it didn't work?
Yeah. What have you not tried and why?
Yeah.
Right? What did you say no to? Okay, now we understand their thinking better. We understand their pain, right? We've appreciated it. Oh, and then they'll say things like, oh, and one more thing. Yes, tell me, please. Right? Like,
yeah.
Like, yes. The world is your oyster. Spill it. So, yeah, we talk people problems, operational problems, marketing problems. Where's your problem? Right? If you had to prioritize that, right? If you had to fix the first thing first.
Yeah.
Right? Tell me what number 1 is.
Not having a process in place to figure that out is probably one of the biggest pains that we solve. Out of, 6 calls on this subject alone this week, we had a discovery with a product specialist this morning. Imagine how relevant that was. So she's helping a company take their app to market in beta.
Okay.
First round in testing, and was commiserating with us about being the only person who cares what the users think. Because the people who build it are fascinated with how cool and awesome and functional and fun it is for them. And they seem to have completely dissociated from the fact that their hope is that somewhere out there, there's a customer, meaning a people who value this thing enough to want to go from free to paid. And so we started mapping out what will be the system that gathers all that information, because if you don't have it, you're never going to leave beta, ever. And that second round of funding most certainly won't come in.
Right.
But more importantly, once you have it, that's what you're going to actually use to scale your business, because that's the stuff that informs marketing and sales. You don't let them make it up, and you certainly don't let them run ads intelligently focused on a single feature or a single benefit.
Right.
That's how you burn your marketing dollars.
What was my post about tonight? The
I haven't read it yet.
incompatibility of the prototypical character type that sits atop most organizations and the current two generations that are at the earliest stages in the workforce, millennials and Gen Z. Right? That's the problem, people problem most businesses are facing now, and why engagement's all the way down at like 6%.
Right.
Right? That article's written to say, hey, I know you got this pain, and we want to help you experience less of it.
What do you think are the costs of 6% engagement on the bottom line? How much is that hurting productivity? Like, do you have a figure you want to throw out there?
Well, to the extent that it becomes actual turnover, right? As soon as it becomes turnover, the cost goes 213% of the average salary of the person you're turning over times the number of turnovers, right? That's how you analyze it, annualize it as well. So
let's
yeah.
start here. Let's say you have 100 people in the business, and you're turning over 5 every quarter.
Okay. So that's
Okay.
20 a year.
Okay, and the average salary is 50K.
Okay.
So that's 20 times 50 times, what did you say? 213%?
Yes. It's $2.25 million.
It is $2.25 million.
Uh-huh.
That is painful math.
Uh-huh. That's
Wow.
exactly right.
Wow. And that happens in the back end post-transaction with your customers too. That's something that we call churn.
Yep.
And I love, my favorite story about this is one of the consultants that we've worked with who's brought us a couple clients over the years. The thing that you think would be a trophy on his mantle is how he guided a founder to $100 million exit. But when you sit down and have that beer with him, he loves to explain to you how that founder had a 50% churn rate and could have sold his company for 500 million.
Right.
And so the real story is somebody got a bargain because they bought that $100 million company and 5x'd it by caring about the customer.
Right. Right.
That's the only thing they had to change.
Right.
What would keep you here? Why are you leaving? How could we make this better? What things could we improve? Because that 5x on customer retention actually becomes a 10 to 50x once you start feeding marketing to sales.
Yeah, it's huge. It's huge, right? Voice of the customer, right? Like whoever's closest to the customer, got to get that data back to the middle of the organization. And it can't really be, the telephone game, right? It's got to be like documented, direct, like unfiltered. It cannot be ego squelched, right? Oh, Rob, you need to be careful. Somebody might be sensitive to that. Well, that's just what I heard from the customers, right? It's not, don't shoot the messenger, right? I just got back from Japan and that's what they told me, right? Do with it as you may. Oh, the head of marketing is so insecure.
Right. Right. And maybe that's something to teach your customer success managers is on exit interviews and that kind of stuff. You train them up and you be like, listen, I want you to tell the customer this. Pretend I have no feelings.
Right.
When are you leaving? Because you're speaking about the company, not me. Like, don't hold anything back. Just put all the cards on the table, but tell us everything that was done wrong, incorrectly, whatever you want to say.
Tell me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not there to be defensive. I'm not there to judge. I'm there to listen and take notes, right?
Yeah. And we have note-taking apps. Like, just let it transcribe the, hopefully, like, download of negativity, because it is probably the most beneficial information you could possibly gather.
And then when they're done spilling their guts, what I like to ask them is, what would it be worth to your business if we solved
Right.
that?
Now you're starting to find out what the buyers actually care about. And that's late in the game.
Mhm.
Ideally, you find this stuff out earlier in the customer journey, but at least right then and there, like, that is one of your huge opportunities.
Right.
Because I think if you let those people vent to you, there's a better chance they won't vent publicly. Right? I got heard on my very last day is different than they never listened.
Yeah. That whole mouth to ear ratio thing, so many salespeople miss.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%.
Get them talking and let them talk and keep them talking. And if they start closing themselves, right? If they start reading back to you why they should buy your thing, shut up, right? It's like, it doesn't get better than that.
I had a really validating moment last week. I was on a follow-up call with, I guess you'd call them a sales rep for a platform that we're looking at, actually integrating into our solutions. Not just for ourselves, but how useful would this be to the end user, our customer, our client? And the validating thing was her pausing to say, I've never thought about using our platform for that.
Oh,
That's incredible. Let me talk to, other people, not me, and find out if it's even possible. Right? And I would say that was that mouth to ear ratio that you're talking about. Like, she actually listened. She went, nobody's ever said, can this thing do that before? Or could it be used in that way? Let me check with the people who can actually answer that question and get back to you.
right.
Because we were so far off of features and benefits and so deep into potential use case, because I'm trying to solve my clients' problems. And in this case, one of the things that we're doing, because we've done research on this, and I'm using this to push this whole notion of today's topic forward, because average employee now has to log in and out of and utilize 10 different apps or platforms in their workday. 10.
It's a lot.
And we're trying to get it down to 3. And so, that's why I'm digging into these things and being like, how much more can this do so that it actually gets done in there instead of having to leave that environment? Because if you look at how fragmented some businesses are, right, there's all the cliches. Oh, we brought in a new marketing expert. And what's the first thing they do? Here's my 5 favorite tools, right? That I know how to work, that nobody here knows how to use, that we will potentially onboard for the 6 months that I'm here until I churn out.
Right.
And then somebody in the CFO space, a year later is like, why do we have 17 software subscriptions for these things that might all be doing the same thing?
Oh,
The answer is simple, because 9 of them never got deployed.
oh.
And that's where I think that features and benefits stuff puts us, right? And unfortunately, that's some of the low-hanging fruit. It's easy to pick on platforms and SaaS and that kind of stuff around this, because it's all so feature heavy. Right? I'm noticing a rollout right now of like, well, what platform doesn't include a note-taking app internally?
Right.
Because we already have 74 external note takers, but we might as well all build one into our system as well, just in case you can't, have 7 in a 2-person meeting.
Right. Right.
My question is, which one populates your CRM after the meeting? Right? Because I know so many people who are like, oh, I've got 47 emails of notes from meeting. Now, where do I put them? And again, like that's part of the features and benefits stuff. Those things aren't actually saving time at that point because you have to manage that data. So how else do we get buyer feedback? And I guess one of my questions, Rob, is how do you acquire it every step of the customer journey? Like, how would you train the perfect team to do that?
I've implemented a lot of software over my career, enterprise kind of stuff, right? Multi-continent,
Big.
mirrored, right? Like all of it, right? Complex. And the people who did it best ran these kind of parallel tracks where we'd have like the project working meetings.
Okay.
Right? We talk about stages, right? Task list, what work's getting done, who's doing what, right? It's project management kind of work.
Okay.
And then separate from that, right? A whole separate line of calls, swim lane, whatever you want to call it. We would have the calls with the business owner for the software, typically me for learning management systems, right?
Okay.
And the salesperson, and they would just ask, how's it going so far? What questions do you have? Right? And that's a parallel process whereby they were consistently listening to their customer. And I got to tell them what was going well, what we were struggling with, what I thought about the service we were receiving. I got my questions answered about any of the things that were, let's say, surprising that I should have known before I bought it, right? Sometimes there's things like that. And they get to learn as they go because you uncover those things as you move through the process. But I'll tell you that kind of performance, that kind of listening, intentional in a parallel flow.
Yes.
Rare. That's the exception, not the rule.
Let me give you an example of where that fails. One of these platform tests, took the easy route, sign up through Google.
Yep.
Clickety click. Week of free trial went by. It's pretty cool. I think it works. I'm interested in using it. Hey, if you want another 2 weeks of free trial, invite a team member.
Okay.
Team members have domain-based emails, not a Google-based email.
Uh-huh.
You start to type their email in there, the system's like,
Right.
It's not in line because I am electronics and I default to this being the domain of your team, and your team must have emails connected to it.
Right.
Oh, screw you.
That's bad validation coding.
Terrible.
Oh.
Terrible. And somebody later down the line thought it was going to be easy as you onboard team, but they didn't realize how much it's hurting the freemium extension user experience.
Right.
Probably killing sales.
Yep.
Now I get to
open to hearing about it.
And there's like more time out of my day trying to fix a thing instead of going to the next product where I don't have to fight with it.
Right. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. So this is one of the things that I find is really consistent as well, which is in a scenario like that, the labor is on me to fix it.
Yep.
I haven't, like, that thing happened 2 or 3 days ago. There hasn't been a, hey, how come you're not using this yet? Like, not even an automated version of a feedback opportunity saying, we're really hoping to hook you and get you liking our stuff, staying with our platform, paying a subscription and scaling it through your team for years to come. Right. And that's a really early loss, because if I do want to use that app, I'm going to have to chase them down to get this fixed.
And your customers should never have to chase you to buy what you're selling. Ever.
Let's all get tattoos of that. Yeah, very well said.
The most painful story of this, right? And it's hopefully funny. Hopefully. I was in South Carolina and we wanted to go trap shooting as a group. So we needed shotgun shells.
Okay.
And in South Carolina, they have them at Walmart.
Simple.
Done. Problem solved, right? Should be that easy.
Yes.
So I go to the sporting goods counter in the Walmart, and they have a button on the wall that says, for assistance, press here. So I do. And a announcement goes off. Customer needs assistance in the sporting goods department. So I wait 5 minutes. Nobody. Someone's walking by. Excuse me, can you help me? Oh, I'm sorry, I can't. I don't have the key to that, but I'll get somebody for you. 5 more minutes goes by. New person walks by. Excuse me, can you help me? No, I can't. I'll go get the store manager. And they walk away. Now we're getting like 15 minutes into this. Literally, now I'm watching my watch, right? Like,
yeah.
And there's 3 of us standing there. So I just start pushing the button.
Thank you.
Right? And there's people like nearby, like in earshot, but not. So I push the button like 15 times, and then I start jumping up and down in the aisle, and I'm yelling, does nobody want to sell anything in this store? And wouldn't you know, I got a lot of people's attention.
Right.
Are you in the business of selling stuff or not?
Right.
Because I'm like waving money in the air, trying to give you money, and nobody wants it. It's like, it's mind-boggling. I talked to at least 5 different people before somebody came and said, oh, I have a key. Here you go. Have a nice day. It took half an hour.
That's astonishing.
It's astonishing is the nicest thing you could say.
Yes.
Oh, no, thank you.
No.
Right? Just brutally bad salesmanship, customer service. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, what's half an hour of your time worth, right? You shouldn't have to chase the salesperson to buy what they're selling. That's not the way it works.
No, it's entirely dysfunctional.
Yeah. So what do buyers care about? Their pain, right? Their pain, their needs, their wants.
You have 20 opportunities to figure out what that is in the lead to conversion to sale
Right.
to onboarding and fulfillment process.
Right.
Minimum of 20 opportunities to learn about what that is. Don't squander opportunity 21 where they're saying goodbye and canceling and exiting because it's still valuable.
Someone who looks a lot like me might have already put meetings on the calendar for all those check-in meetings that go beyond the implementation date.
Yes.
And we have those conversations every 2 weeks leading up to and indeed following the actual delivery event.
Right.
Right? That always listening. Always. How did that go? Right? Do you have any concerns? Here's a preview of the deck. Anything you'd object to, anything you suggest be done a certain way based on your culture, because of course you have more knowledge than I do. Right?
Yeah.
Like, get the intel, share, partner, right? Listen. And when you're done, how did that go? Follow on, right? Like that all those meetings are already in the calendar. As soon as they said yes, I booked all those meetings with agendas going forward.
Beautiful.
Right?
Beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we built an automation specifically for this. All it does is ask, how are we doing? And give them a 1 to 5 option.
Right.
You can do wonderful things with the 5, but more importantly, the 4 or less, that triggers other automations, which is how do you get to who needs to hear this as quickly as possible?
Right. What's the gap? Right.
Yeah.
What can I do? Right.
Yeah. And I've been going back to this recently because thank God it exists. We have the baseline of dining, right? I was trained. I bartended and waitered through college, and they said 2 sips or 2 bites, right? The second after something arrives at the table, you come back and ask them how it is. And maybe I'm a weirdo. I still expect it when I'm at a restaurant. I find it strange when somebody drops a plate off and disappears for 40 minutes when all I wanted was some pepper.
Right. 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 It's not that hard, right? Set the expectation for your people, train them,
Yeah.
get them in a process in their heads, right? I take the order, and on the way back to the kitchen to drop off the order, I look and take mental note who's 2 bites in, right?
Yeah.
Like that's part of my protocol, right?
100%. Like,
Not hard. Train it.
since I have been a waiter, I know that the pepper mills are stored at the kiosks. So now I just go and get it myself because I'm not going to like delay the meal a half an hour and have everybody at the table finished while I'm waiting for seasoning. But trust me, it's happening somewhere in your business.
Right.
Yeah. Anything else that you want people to think about or leave with or look at implementing?
The hardest thing with some salespeople is to get them to not talk so much. Listen, dig. Think of yourself less as a salesperson, more like an archaeologist.
Beautiful.
Right? You're there to figure it out. Dig up the pain, dig up the problem. And then have your customer quantify, prioritize, right? They will tell you what hurts the worst. We triage, we treat what hurts worst first.
You know, you just reminded me, I had a meeting with the CFO earlier today, and I adore her because the company she's in has this problem that they like, let's throw people at it. And she's like, no, not until you know what the person's supposed to do.
Right.
And, you know, I've worked with her a few times already, but every single time I'm reminded of like why this person is so great, because her job is the bottom line.
That's right.
And the people who should be concerned with that bottom line aren't. They're trying to solve a strategic problem by putting more people in the wrong spot in the business and assuming volume is going to change it.
Oh, that's
So
such an expensive mistake.
thankfully, they've got a talented CFO who knows how to just tell them it's not going to be fixed that way and refuses to let them spend it. But yes,
Oh,
those people are worth their weight in gold. Listen to them. They have your best interests in mind.
awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks so much for being here, Rob. Really appreciate this conversation. And for those of you who hung out with us, we'll be back here next week. And be well.
Awesome. Thanks, Jacob.